Welcome back to the LFC Transfer Room. Jack, Chris, and Jared, and Kurtis here with a very loaded set of fellas. Talk about the Leeds match. About 24 hours on from the start of that match, midway through. Kind of look back on it ahead of the return of the Champions League this week. But first, Chris, my friend, how are you doing this lovely Monday?
I'm better now than I was this morning. I'll tell you that, Pella. I'll tell you that. We won't go into that though.
That's good. Anthony, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks, Jack.
Jared, we spoke yesterday. I was on the stream. How you doing today?
I'm thinking about Harvey, but I'm hanging in there, man.
And Kurtis, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you doing?
No one asked me really how I'm doing. I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Well, obviously with Harvey, that's probably the most overarching consequence of that match yesterday. It was a nice 3 points. It was a nice performance. Jared and I obviously were on the watch along. So, Chris, I'll toss it to you first. Looking back on that match, how good a performance was it? And what were your general takeaways from the trip to Elland Road?
I thought, as in the title, I thought we were world class yesterday. It was efficient, professional, like speedy. Everything was one touch, two touch. Mate, we just looked solid. They had one chance, and that was after like 2 or 3 minutes with Rodrigo firing at Alisson straight away. That if that goes in, it could be a different game. But barring that, no fault. And it's just such a shame, and I'm sure the boys will cover it as well, that it had to be overshadowed by something as horrible as that for an 18-year-old kid. But look, we move on. We look at what we have to take the positives and think that is probably up there with some of the best performances since the start of last season.
You agree with that, Anthony? One of the best performances since last season.
Yeah, Chris hit the nail on the head. I don't think anyone performed badly. Everyone performed probably 7 or 8 out of 10 or above. One of the key things that everyone was saying, it's going to be an intense match. Leeds are going to push us and maybe score a couple of goals. And we handled them really well. They didn't really create anything. Like Chris said, Rodrigo had that one chance. He maybe should have scored it, but who cares? We got the clean sheet and we scored 3 goals. Should have been more than 3 as well if Mane had his shooting boots on. Yeah,
Mane has been one of the biggest issues, but also there's a lot of room to improve there. Kurtis, I'm interested in your thoughts on maybe the performance of Mane in particular. He had a lot of opportunities, more shots than Leeds individually. What were your takeaways from that match for him?
Yeah, so for Mane, obviously, I think it was 10 shots in the end, 1 goal. Not the best of conversion rates there. But in terms of the match as a whole, I think it's an intimidating place to go. And to show, as the boys have already covered, such a sort of mature performance, that's something to fill us with optimism. But the shine is taken off the result with everything that happened to Harvey Elliott.
So Harvey Elliott, I think it's impossible to talk about this match without talking about him. Jared, I'll bring you in on this. We obviously had to deal with the raw emotion of when he went down. Beyond the emotional impact on a young player like that, how much of a loss is he for the squad dynamics and for Liverpool's objectives this season as a whole, losing Harvey Elliott for what it's going to be months. We don't know how many months yet, but it's going to be months. What kind of impact is that going to have, Jared?
I think it is a massive impact. I think even a month ago, if you'd said Harvey was going to be out for 6 months, we might not have understood the gravity of it, right? Because just in 4 matches, he's been so immense. He's so lively, creative. His work rates are good. Obviously, he's not like a defender in any sense, really, but his work rates are good. Fights for the badge. So yeah, I think it's a massive loss. I think he brings something to that midfield, to that right side of the pitch that we didn't have before. Obviously, Thiago's a creative player as well, but Harvey's more of a player that's going to drive at defenders and take people on it's going to be big. The chemistry he's developed with Salah and Trent on the right hand side, he's going to be missed. So and of course, as we've all spoken about, the depth of the squad is a worry for all of us Liverpool supporters. So this is our first major test.
I want to pose this question to all of you: was Harvey Elliott a starter in the midfield?
Well,
before the injury?
He was.
Long term, this is a pretty stupid question, wasn't it? Long term this season, was he in that best 3 midfielders?
He was really pushing. He was pushing into it, wasn't he? He was really starting to establish himself in the lineup. And I think when Klopp gives the confidence, has the confidence in a player to start such an important game as Chelsea was at home. It gives that to Harvey Elliott. It sort of speaks volumes about the quality of the player and the confidence of the player as well. So I'd argue he was.
I'd argue that football's a squad game and you don't have a best three midfielders now. I think Fabinho's probably the only one that gets in, but that's because he's so special. I think those other two places are always up for grabs because there's a lot of different options and different games that you can play them in. I wouldn't, obviously, against Chelsea, I would have chosen someone else personally, but then he went and played an absolute blinder. So it's all ifs, buts, and maybes, as the famous saying goes. So yeah, a squad game.
Chris, you say that so often, you may as well just be Chris. It's a squad game, Stonage. So let's know in the comments, what should be the midfield trio against Milan in the long-term starting trio? Because Chris, as much as he may believe it's not a squad, or it is a squad game, you can't have a midfield three. So I'm assuming Henderson is just the automatic fill-in that right center mid spot.
Yeah.
100%.
Is Henderson better than Elliott right now?
Oh.
Is that a controversial take to say Elliott is better right now?
In a different way. They're not the same, are they? Elliott gives us significantly more sort of flair going forward. Henderson does the captain's role, sort of marshalling the midfield, doesn't he? It's different.
Yeah, I think I want to see Keita, Thiago, and Fabinho. I think that'd be nice, personally.
Be pretty salty, wouldn't it? I think Kate is made for the Champions League.
I think he is as well, yeah. I think this would be a great match against Milan. But again, does Klopp trust him enough? I'm not sure. So about Thiago a bit, actually, his performance. I mean, it was brilliant, was it not? I mean, Elliott was tremendous. The injury obviously overshadowed a lot of things. But how many midfielders in the Premier League are better than Thiago? I say zero. That's what I've always said. I say
no
there
midfielders.
There's a lot of different types of midfielders, though, isn't there?
Yeah. He's very unique. He's such a unique player. I think that's his beauty, like the beauty of his game. Like KDB probably is better overall, right? If you had to take someone to build a squad around, I mean, you're probably going to take De Bruyne, but Thiago, he's like a 6. He's like a 6, but has like the passing of Iniesta or something. You know what I mean? Like he's just so unique.
Yeah,
he's from that cut from the same cloth, isn't he? Of like the Iniestas and Xavis, obviously, because he was made in the same place. So not like in like a sort of a machine Frankenstein kind of way, but like he was made in like La Masia.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, I think that I agree with this from Bogdan. Not better, but just different. I think that in a Klopp midfield trio, how many players better than Thiago are there? You know, guys that who can do the defensive work, can do the dirty stuff, but also can be as creative as he can. Like Bruno couldn't play midfield 3, Pogba couldn't. De Bruyne, we'd figure it out. But I'd like to see De Bruyne in a false 9 actually for Liverpool.
Yes,
that'd be fascinating.
Let's go.
That'd be fascinating.
Oh man,
I love Thiago, but KDB is different sauce, you know. But he's in that category for sure. He's in that category.
Wow, this is a take. Top 10 midfielders all time for Thiago. He's got the trophy record to back it up. He's got some pretty big performances. Man of the match in the 2019 Champions League final. He's been in some great sides. Top 10 all time though.
It's a very bold shout.
Let's just to give us some something to reference. He was barely getting minutes in the Euros this summer for Spain, right? And Pedro's starting over him. So that's something to keep in mind. I mean, we love him. He's so critical now in our midfield, but you know, that top 10 of all time is a bold shout.
Like we always rely on Black Hammer for the entertainment.
Oh yeah, it's his name, Black Hammer Entertainment. So I want to take a bit of a different look back on this Leeds match. So not making the 20-man squad was Divock Origi.
Yeah.
How big of so supposedly no injury concerns. He just wasn't selected, and that meant the only offensive option on the bench was Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain as a false 9. What does that say to you guys about Origi's long-term future, like at the club and as a squad member?
I don't know. I mean, I think it says more about Oxlade-Chamberlain that he's world class in false nine. Personally,
You would though, wouldn't you?
nah. He was there in jeans, wasn't he, yesterday? Just standing on the sidelines.
Origi was?
Yeah.
He
I don't know.
needs to go, man. His time's up. He got 0 league goals. Was it last season or was it 1?
It was 0. Yeah.
0.
Yeah, 0.
Allison had more.
But enough of this Chamberlain hive for playing him as a false nine. He was rubbish yesterday.
Look, he needs bedding in time, mate. He needs bedding in time.
No.
He's like 26.
You could just tell he doesn't really fit. He's not on the same wavelength as the other two.
Not yet.
Like Jota fits in perfectly. He managed to get in straight away and scored goals for fun. But Chamberlain, that's not his position. I think, to be fair, as good as he is in centre mid, I think he actually plays like very well on the left wing as well. I'm not sure about you.
I like him on the left wing more than the false nine, is what I'll say. I don't like him up front, but I'd much prefer him out wide. So stick him in the corner, keep him away from the center of the play. That's how
I think we need to be a bit more patient. Like Thiago's almost like a new signing given the calamity that was last season, and with Verge back, I feel like we need to give everyone a bit more time. Even Ox in the false nine role, I think could still be viable. So there you go, Chris.
Yeah. I think I'm standing on this hill and I'm not moving.
And honestly, I was really shaken up after the Harvey injury, so it was really hard for me to focus on the match details yesterday in the second half. But Ox didn't stand out as that poor to me. I don't know. He had one play where he drove it like 3 defenders. He created some space in the box that stood out in my mind. But I was definitely, I don't know. What did you guys see? Kind of that was bad.
I didn't see much. That was what I saw. But I'm interested in Kurtis Oxlade's small cameo. Anything to suggest that he's got the makings of a club false nine.
The hard work, it's clearly there, isn't it? He was sort of dropping back and trying to make transitions happen further up the pitch, but he did get in the way of one opportunity that's just been pointed out in the comments there. But I quickly want to go back to Jared's point on Thiago's like a new signing in a way. I know we use that expression a bit too much as Liverpool fans, but it is because he's now got that consistent back line behind him, that security for him to play the way he can. And he's having a bit more consistency all around him. So it's that peace of mind, I guess. And, no, he hasn't got COVID, thankfully, this time. Now he's joined and he hasn't been injured by Richarlison. So it's kind of like there's factors that are in play that made his initial start with us more difficult. And now he's able to almost start again.
I'm looking up the schedule. We play Everton on November 30th, Curtis, so don't get too far ahead of yourself saying he's not injured by Richarlison.
All right.
Yeah, he hasn't escaped Everton away yet. Until we get away from – once we get past November 30th, maybe I trust our long-term injury avoidance. But that match is the medics are saying prayers before that one.
Can't wait for that.
Klopp's going to pull it out of the bag and just start Origi, isn't he? We all know it's going to happen.
Meant to be.
He's just going to start other bodies, so just like human meat shields, just so they get hurt. No one else gets hurt. In terms of the attacking depth, we're talking about the lack of signings and the lack of depth. Do we trust any forward options off the bench besides Firmino? Minamino, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Origi. Could have said Elliott, up front. But do we trust any options off the bench right now? It's
a weird one because I think everyone likes Minamino. We know he's got the ability, but it's just when the ball comes to him, he just never finishes it off. But you imagine the Mane chances he had yesterday. People were saying Minamino would finish them, so it's a tough one. But Firmino obviously good enough. If anything, Firmino is obviously our starter, and then Jota's good enough to come off the bench. But we all said we needed another forward option in the transfer window, but that never happened. But yeah, I'm not sure. Not really sure, to be honest.
I don't doubt that Minamino would finish those chances, but would he get in the positions? I don't think he would. That's why Mane's so good.
I think there's that lack of game time there for Minamino, lack of match, sort of, playing for us and getting the positions in a match day is different to doing it in training. I think, he would finish those chances, but like you say, Chris, it's the getting in the positions, that sort of in-game experience and knowledge that would let him down.
And pace, Mane's pace obviously is incredible still, even at, what is he, 28 now, 29. But yeah, I mean, personally, Ox does excite me when I see him warming up. Like maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm blinded still by like 2018 against City in the Champions League, and he's had some great moments for us, and he can really he can make something from nothing, in my opinion, which is a rare trait. Especially on our team, some of our players are very industrious. We press hard, but we might not have that creative flair like a Harvey or an Ox. I think Ox has that, so I think it's more about just kind of nurturing him, getting him comfortable at full fitness for a long period of time, and maybe he'll do something useful.
We saw another great performance from Matip against Leeds. When do we begin to dive into the rotation options? Gomez, Konate, Phillips. When does Matip not start a match? Given he's fit, I'm assuming he's fit and for indefinitely. When do we rest him, one of those first choice center backs?
I think we've got to be sensible with Matip, especially. We can't not look at his injury record for us. It hasn't been fantastic. And I think AC Milan would be a great chance to get Konate into the side and see what he offers as Virgil van Dijk's partner. I think that's something I hope to see.
Do you trust Joel Matip to play 3 games in a week? No. I don't. If you do, then you're mental. I think he needs to be rested, rotated, pretty constantly, to be honest. 3 games in a burst, maybe, but...
So would you say take him out for the Palace game or for the Milan game so he avoids those 3 matches in a week? Because I'm interested in, Chris, you talked to, I never know his full name, Nima, about Milan. Is there a reason that you'd want to have Konate versus Matip against them?
I would probably go for Konate because they've got a physical specimen up front in Zlatan Ibrahimovic. And Konate himself is a physical specimen. Not saying that Matip isn't. Matip looked after Lukaku easily. But I think it would be a good game to test Konate. I from what I saw of him in pre-season, he looked domineering. He reminds me of Virgil a little bit. Obviously not quite as good yet. But people forget as well, we've still got like Joe Gomez as well. Who's still quality. Like that's full world-class centre backs you've got there, in my opinion. I think you can chop and change whenever you want.
I agree with Red Knight in the comments. I think I would, as long as Matip can recover in time for the Wednesday night match, I would play Matip and Verge against Milan and then rotate for Palace next weekend. I think that's a safer match to throw a young player, a new signing like Konate into. Not that he couldn't cope. I think especially alongside Virgil, he'd be fine. But that makes more sense to me. Or maybe even you put Joe Gomez in against Milan, and then put Matip back in next weekend. Like we don't really know who's ahead on the depth chart. We haven't seen that yet.
Well, in your guys' internal depth chart, so it goes Virgil, Matip, Konate, Gomez. Is Gomez the 4th choice center back for you guys?
Gomez is 3rd choice for me.
I agree with Anthony.
Yeah, I think is it everyone keeps saying just rotate centre backs? It's a Champions League match though, like first one of the season. It's probably too risky to put Konate in. Gomez obviously played with Van Dijk before, and they're world class together. So I reckon Konate will get his first start against Norwich. Him and Gomez will probably play with each other, but yeah, I think Konate is probably 4th choice in the order, but. Yeah,
it is a nice problem to have now after the card last year.
Yes,
literally the opposite. Also, I think some of it is tactical, right? Like against a Milan, they have some really pacey players like Theo Hernandez, Rafael Leao. So maybe we go for like a Gomez or a Konate who have more pace as compared to a Matip. There's also the tactical side of things. It might not always be purely like Matip is 2nd, Gomez is 3rd. Like there's different things to take into account. And I do think it'll be an open match. It's not like Milan's going to sit back in a deep block. I wouldn't say so. So yeah, I think those things matter too.
And it's something about the Red Bull players. I just feel they're suited to Europe a lot more. Naby is one who who's excelled in the Champions League, where he's had his best performances probably for Liverpool. I think Konate is another one. Sabitzer one, it was world quality, and that's why I really wanted him. But then, I don't know what it is about them, but they all just seem suited for the Champions League.
I think it's that Red Bull system is so good. Obviously, Nagelsmann was there last season. He's an incredible manager. He's now at Bayern, right? But I think like they just that Salzburg and Leipzig pipeline is really, really good.
And now you got Jesse Marsch, the American,
Yeah,
leading Leipzig to the Champions League.
Soccer league.
Soccer league.
Soccer, awesome,
dude. I love Jesse. I love Jesse. We'll have a Milan preview tomorrow, so we won't dive too much into that match. But I think the rotation is definitely an interesting thing to watch next few weeks because it's tough if you're Gomez, if you're Konate, where you're these center backs. You could start at almost. Where do Gomez and Konate start in the other 19 Premier League clubs? Are they in those starting duos? I'm assuming for every club except for maybe United and maybe City, they get into that starting 11 at other clubs.
As a pair or individually?
Individually.
Oh. I'd argue Gomez starts for Man United and Konate.
Over Varane?
I'd argue Joe Gomez is better.
Not over Varane.
I think Maguire, Varane. It's tough though because they could. It's an argument much closer than it is for Liverpool when you have Matip and Van Dijk, who might be the two best center backs in the league. So,
Varane.
Do you think Varane is that good?
Yeah.
I'll learn about Maguire, not Varane.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. I think that might have been clear.
My stream is lagging. Sorry.
No worries.
So looking back on Leeds, last thing we'll say anything on it is who was your man of the matches from it? We didn't actually do ours, Jared, on the stream yesterday. So man of the match from Leeds yesterday. I have to think back a little bit. Chris, I'm going to put you on the spot first.
Mo Salah, world class. We overlook it. Fabinho was incredible. Thiago was incredible, but Mo Salah.
Anthony, who was your man of the match?
I'm going to go with Fabinho. So every single time Leeds tried to attack us, he was always there, and obviously got himself a goal as well.
Kurt, who are you saying?
Yeah, I'm going to join Anthony. I'm going to say Fabinho. I think he was such a big presence in the midfield, as well as getting a goal and even getting a yellow card, and then still playing fantastically and not pulling his punches when it came to any tackles that needed to be made. Fabinho for me.
Jared.
I'd say Thiago, but Fabinho, like either of them, they were both immense and just boss play and controlled the midfield, especially in such a high octane game, like such a fast paced match as we all saw that it was. But either one of them, both incredible.
I was going to give a shout to Matip. I think Matip was really, really good. I think both in his defensive solidity and also it was the first goal, I think, where he really pushed forward with it. And
played a 1-2 in the box.
Exactly,
and then played it out to Trent. Like, that was incredible.
I think that is having center backs who can do that, range of passing like Van Dijk, and who can just push forward and be a bit crazy with it like Matip. It changes the way you can attack. And it's really great to see. We'll kind of ever so slightly preview the Milan match and the Milan preview we're doing tomorrow. How confident are you headed into the Champions League group stage? That's what we'll end the stream on, Chris. Odds of winning the group, odds of getting through. Are you nervous at all? It's a pretty tough group, but how are you feeling?
It's tough. It's tough, isn't it? I mean, you got Atletico Madrid, who has caused us nightmares before, but it's a great time to give them a bit of revenge. Porto, I mean, we can't underestimate them despite like making them like our bitch really for the two Champions League games. And then you got a really, really tough game in Milan, but it's the first time they've been in the Champions League in 10 years. It's unreal to think that such a massive institution. That's where Barcelona are heading, boys, to be honest. But yeah, I am confident that we will win the Champions League. I'm not just confident that we'll win.
Okay.
I'm confident we'll win the Champions League. We're built for knockout football, mate.
Anthony, are you confident winning the Champions League? Confident?
Mate, I'm confident every season we're going to win the Champions League, but it's just when we have these odd injury issues and like the losers matches, it's just like Adrian against Atletico, Van Dijk, so on and so on. But you should always be confident. I think one thing I do, I'm not sure if everyone else does it, but like when you hear a name, so we got AC Milan, everyone's thinking, oh, we're going to struggle. But then you realise we're like literally Liverpool. We got Salah, Van Dijk, so on and so on. So yeah, I think we'll win easily against those guys.
Kurt, are you thinking first or second versus Atletico Madrid in the group? Is it just a case of getting through easily, or is Atletico, could they pose a test for winning the group?
You know what? I am very nervous for this group stage. I think it's one of the toughest we've had in a very long time. And I think we're going to need everything to finish first. But I really hope we do the double on Atletico because I'm fed up of seeing Llorente gifts.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I'm done with that.
And in that match, Jared, will there be any emotion, you think? A sense of revenge?
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, think of that was the last match at Anfield before the pandemic, right? So like as if we needed extra, as if there was anything else you could add to the emotion that already happened in that match, the Adrian calamities, the, Diego Simeone running around Anfield celebrating, Morata scoring against us. Just like, it's gonna be emotional. It's gonna be highly and Atletico, like they're not afraid to run, if not outrun, the likes of a Klopp team. So it's always going to be an intense battle where they're highly physical as well. And it's gonna be pretty crazy, I think. But I'm confident.
I think we all should be confident. We are Liverpool at the end of the day.
Yeah. Sorry. Atletico weren't even that good against us. I hope I'm not like
We battered
deluded
them.
myself,
Yeah.
but like we like battered them for the 90 minutes. We just couldn't finish. I remember Robertson had an open goal. He hit the crossbar. He's just finishing, but yeah.
Yeah.
PTSD. Time to put that in the exercise with demons. Get past that. I really enjoyed this stream, boys. Short one, looking back on Leeds, looking ahead a bit. Make sure you subscribe to the LFC Transfer Room. We're going to be having all your Champions League content as Chris says, the start of winning number 7. Get excited, boys.
Yes.
Nice.
Thank you all for your time today. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I enjoyed this stream on this Monday. We will catch you in the next one on the LFC Transfer Room.